Judy Gabriel. My address is 186 Oakland Avenue. Well, because this has to do with the school district, recently in the newspaper, the school district was represented by comments by both Tim Baird, our former superintendent, and Linda Taylor about the reasons why they didn't want the skate park at that location. And what was brought up was that they said there was repeated vandalism and drug use on the property and crime. And there was name calling, even Mr. Baird even referred to our kids as knuckle draggers in the paper. I mean, it was ridiculous. So we did a little research, and Wendy went down to the sheriff's department, and we did some research on the number of police calls to the 5 youth locations, most used youth locations in Ojai. Those being 414 Ojai Avenue, East Ojai Avenue, which is Chaparral, the Park and Ride, and the skate park, Sarasate Park, Libby Park, Matilaha, and Nordhoff. So, whereas these do not include serious crimes like rape, suicide, murder, child crimes, etc., but they're the things that they were referring to. So I went through the stacks of calls. The skate park, including Chaparral and Park and Ride, in a year and a half, between January 1st, 2008 and July of 2009, had 27 calls. 27. This little stack of paper. Matilaha Junior High had 106 calls. Sarasate Park had 137 calls. Libby Park had 416 calls, and Nordhoff had 734 calls. The skate park had 27 calls. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that there's an integrity issue here. Our kids are being used as a scapegoat. They're being used as a diversion tactic. And what has come up recently is that the school district wants to develop the property. So I'm trying to give you information so that you know what you're really dealing with. And it's not, there's crime there, so if they bring that up, you now have statistics to say that's not the issue. And the other is to ask you to really stand up in integrity for our kids, because they're being, maligned. It's wrong. And the kids were here tonight and they laughed because, and they don't even want to get up and speak anymore, they feel dissed. They feel repeatedly, everyone talking about skateboarders and they're wrong. And it's not that, I think in the past that they're skateboarding, there was a group, and there are still, of course, drug activities in every teenage group in sport, but it does have a reputation for more than others. But where we are today, though, isn't about the teenagers. We're in a place where we were with soccer 20 years ago, when soccer came in, or 25, when soccer came into the United States. It wasn't a big sport when I was a kid, but 20 years ago, AYSO came in, and every town built soccer fields, and it changed. And it's what every 10-year-old kid did. That's where we are with skateboarding. You are not building this skate park for the teenagers. You're building them for the 10-year-olds and the 8-year-olds. I mean, this is the real mainstream sport now. So the point of all this is that, they have a plan for 75,000 square feet with a triplex and, low-income housing and a strip mall, etc., and they don't want a skate park in it. So your job is to make sure that they fulfill their commitment. They've signed a lease. And you have a lot of leverage. You are going to be the ones who approve the planning, whatever they submit for this new property. You have all the leverage in the world to say, just make sure it has a skate park part of it. Just like Rockefeller Center makes skating the central fun activity of your new development, whatever they do.
Could you please If you're finished, could you please wind it up?
I'm done. Yes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for listening.